Tonight, we got another wonderful guest on for you tonight, Miss Ann Griffin. Stay tuned.
Talking Junk Network,
where entertainment lives.
Welcome to Talking Junk.
I'm your host, Jason Melendez.
Live now every week on Fridays.
Talking Junk.
A multitude of professionals in different aspects, different walks of life.
You have to come on and talk junk like a normal person.
This episode is brought to you in part by Heaven's Pantry's Excalibur with 6 simple ingredients: dates, cashews, almonds, cocoa powder, coconut oil, and sprinkle a little bit of that sea salt on it. Makes for the best vegan brownie you have ever tasted. Go to Amazon.com right now and use the promo code HP Street for your first order to get 20% off. And use our promo code TalkJunk69 for 10% off every order after. You cannot beat that. Get you an Excalibur today. We are also sponsored by Dizzle, the premium liqueur, straight out of LA. This mango tasting, citrus infused liqueur is 80% proof and will knock you on your feet or off. Depending on how you mix this, it will do wonders. So go to the dizzlebrand.com right now and see which distributor will ship to you. Remember, I said it comes straight out of California, so you got to see what price and which shipment will fit your budget and schedule. If you're not dizzling, what exactly are you doing? Welcome to Talking Junk, the podcast that comes to you live every Friday night. I'm your host, Jason Melendez, and we got a wonderful guest for you again tonight. I tell you this every week. We're going to keep these guests rolling in because we're here for you ultimately. We're here to talk junk, and we're going to talk junk with Miss Ann Griffin tonight. We're talking about symptom evolution. So let's just get her on right now and see exactly what symptom evolution is. Ann, how you doing tonight?
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me on, Jason.
The pleasure is all mine, even though I look toe up from the flow up. I didn't have no time to get ready from this. No haircut, no nothing. How you doing tonight, though? I know you're coming from a party, right?
What's that?
You're coming from a party?
It was a graduation that I had to attend for a friend of mine. But yeah, it was great. Warm connections. I went out and had a cocktail afterwards. Always puts you at ease, right?
Oh, yeah, it always does. See, over here, we got the Dizzle to put us at ease.
You weren't joking. That's awesome. The libations on hookup.
Oh, yeah. We got everything here. We got the Excaliburs, which I know some of your patients will probably like.
Yeah, right?
So why don't you tell us a little bit about Symptom Evolution? How'd you get into this?
Yeah, so I am a manual therapist by trade, and I've been in this industry for 13 years. But I was already really, really good at the soft tissue work that I did, but I was observing that I was still only getting maybe about 86% of my patients better. And I really couldn't explain why, when I gave 2 people what I thought was the same knee case, I gave them both the same stretches and exercises or did the same soft tissue work. One would get better and the other one didn't. And I couldn't understand why, or if their symptoms got better for a little bit, but they kept coming back. I couldn't really understand what was going on and what would explain that with the information that we were given in school or what we were taught and some of the treatment and the diagnostic algorithms. And that just wasn't really good enough for me. So I started to do a lot of research, kind of went back to the drawing board and figured out some previously unknown connections in the body. And so Symptom Evolution was born out of necessity. And it's just a very very specialized history taking methodology. So when we're asking our patients, where does it hurt? When does it bother you? What makes it better? What makes it worse? To be able to translate what our patients tell us into very usable clinical information to determine what I'm going to do that day in the treatment room. Or if you're an orthopedist or a medical doctor who takes my course and you don't do any of the hands-on work, you know what kind of referral to make for Mr. Smith's knee pain versus Mr. Jones's knee pain, because there are many different flavors of clinical presentations. So we can have knee pain, neck pain, back pain for anywhere between 3 to 12 or even 16 different reasons, all contributing to that person's same body area of concern. And what fixes each of those 3, 12, 16 different things is one very different. And moreover, there's a first thing first, a second thing second, and the third thing third. And what you do on day 1 is completely different than what's needed on day 2, is completely different than what's needed on day 3. And that's why it's called symptom evolution, because if I'm halfway right with my working diagnosis and I do apply the interventions and the soft tissue modality that I developed effectively, the person's condition completely changes. They come back and tell me, no, my knee doesn't bother me at all anymore, but my opposite hip is really bugging me. So the symptoms evolve through the course of care. And even for very, very complex cases, vertigo, migraine, multiple failed courses of care, failed surgeries, etc., we usually only treat our patients maybe 2, 4, 6 times at the most. And we expect full resolution and for their symptoms not to return, which is a great departure from what I learned in school and sort of the average, or what we'll say the typical standards of care in the industry.
So how did you even start to draw the lines between all of this? Because it sounds like it took a while to even factor in that these people are different and they may need different lines of care.
Right. So I don't know about you, but I love puzzles. And so what I started to notice in the patients that try as I may, I wasn't really moving the needle on their presenting complaint. And so I noticed patterns in the patients that I was what we'll say unsuccessful or had mediocre care results or symptoms would return. I noticed certain things. For example, if they had more than 3 either significant injuries or surgical events, more than 3 or even more, there was a really strong likelihood that they would have a sort of a mediocre response to care with the stuff that I knew how to do. I also noticed if somebody had, let's say, multiple dislocations, no fractures, but multiple dislocations, had a tendency towards painful menses, really severe asthma as a kid, pneumonia, those people also didn't really respond very well to the work that I already knew how to do. And so it was by observing these sort of like these little clusters of subgroups that I started to really dig deep. Well, what could explain that? And because would be a HIPAA violation, I won't name names, but I can tell you the cases one by one. So I learned from this case that A plus B equals C. Well, if that's true, then B plus C must equal D. And I learned from this case, E plus F equals G. Shoot, this goes all the way to Z. So I just started putting the pieces together. And so essentially I had some working diagnoses and sort of a hypothesis, right? It's a scientific method. You come up with a hypothesized explanation for some phenomena to explain it, and then you put it to the test. And what happened when I started applying the A to Z sort of equation, my patients started getting insane results. I could fix stuff in 15 minutes that used to take me 6 visits or never. I started to be able to fix stuff that I couldn't even tell you and explain exactly how whatever I did worked. So the patient comes in, there's like, oh yeah, doc, that was so great. My 20-year hip pain's gone. And I'm writing down on my little chart, holding it together. I'm like, good. That was as I expected. In my mind, I'm like, that worked? What the hell? So that's what really started springboard. I knew I was onto something. And after getting like hundreds and hundreds of patient reports like this, I knew I was onto something and I had to put it to the test. So I did my first sort of beta test, my beta launch with a group of students to see if they could pick up what I was putting down, to see if not only can I reproduce this, can I teach this work? And so what I figured out was that not only can I communicate these ideas in a really concise and fun way, they can apply the work that I do and they get the exact same results. That I'm not special. We call it in the industry, we call it the wizard effect. So somebody might be really great at technique X, but no one else can reproduce it. That's called the wizard effect. I'm not a wizard. And so there's the sound principles that I figured out. Not only can I teach it, I can explain it in with nitty gritty details. I did a bajillion hours of research, going through a bunch of orthopedic textbooks, a bunch of research studies, and so on and so forth. And I'm bringing together what seems to be like unrelated data points. What seems to be, who cares that the meninges grow into the fascia externally in the cranium at the suture lines? So what? To bring that piece together with this piece to this piece. And this is why when a patient tells you that they have knee pain, but they played soccer for 20 years, you have to work on their blood vessels in order to fix their knee pain. And this is why, to be able to explain that in a much more like robust way. It's like the best book series you've ever read, but it never ends because you just keep learning more. It's great.
I love the never-ending story.
Right? Falcor!
And I feel like I missed my cue to say, "You're a wizard, Anne."
Oh, that's
Now
so good.
You must have felt like a wizard at the time. Like you didn't. How did you come to realize that this wasn't just a fluke? It was something that was genuine and concrete that you can actually start to teach these people.
Mm-hmm. Super great question. So again, I love puzzles, and one of our most powerful tools as practitioners, and it doesn't matter what your stripe is. It doesn't matter if you're a podiatrist or a physical therapist or a chiropractor or a massage therapist. It doesn't matter what your flavor of medicine that you do. It's pretty consistent across all occupations, all fields, that a patient has an issue that they don't want to have anymore. So they go see a professional to help them get rid of it, right? That's the root, the most general reason why people end up at offices like mine. And what I observed is not only from visit 1, 2, and 3, could I anticipate. So after the conclusion, visit 1, patient comes in and says, "Doc, I have this problem and I want you to help me get rid of it." And I ask them, when does it hurt? I go through all the history, taking the symptom evolution methodology. And I go through every with a fine tooth comb to really figure out what's going on for this person and do my magic in the treatment room. And then I was able to tell them after a few rounds of this, I was able to anticipate, okay, Mr. Jones, your left knee is going to feel really wobbly today. In the next 2 days, you're probably going to get some right-sided hip pain. And after that goes away, you're going to get a headache like you've never had before. And they're like, okay. And they come back on session 2 and they said, "Oh my God, everything you told me that was going to happen did." And so it was with this, working with the framework. Okay, if A plus B equals C and C plus D equals F, if that's true, then it follows you're going to come back and tell me G, right? You're going to come back and tell me HIJK, right? And that's what started to happen. So not only were the principles that I was sort of the hypothetical principles that I was developing consistent, predictable, and consistent from person to person to person, case to case to case, they were also consistent in the same person from treatment 1, 2, 3. And if something goes hamajang or goes off, a little bit off the beaten path or is a little bit unexpected in a follow-up session, I can also explain that. And so there'll be a little piece of information that I didn't know on treatment 1. So when somebody comes back, "I'm having a migraine. I haven't had these for years. What's going on?" I was like, I didn't expect that. "How long did you have orthodontics as a kid?" And so it was a piece of information that I didn't know on treatment 1. And boop, lo and behold, shows itself, because bodies don't lie. Symptoms don't lie. If you walk in and you tell me that you're experiencing C, then I know you have to have A and B to get C. And it also means in order to get rid of C, you have to go back out the way you came, and you got to get rid of B and A. And if I treat out of priority, if I skip to A when there's a B there, the patient comes back and tells me, "I got a migraine. I haven't had these for years." I was like, whoop. we missed a B. I jumped to A. And so like these principles, once I realized like not only how consistent they were, not that I have the time for this, but I would love to do like a mini like show of like guess your history. And I'll have the people tell me, okay, what's your top 3, common body pains? And they'll say, this is an S. I'm like, all right, you hit your head when
How
you were
late do you stay up on Saturdays?
well, depends on the Saturday. Is that true?
Hey, I'd love to have you on and have people call up and you can guess their diagnosis.
Oh, if you would let me, I would so be into that because we've been like brainstorming this stuff because it happens all the time. So when somebody calls for like their kid or something who's having some ADHD, I don't treat ADHD, but if the kid experiencing ADHD has some of these like injury history positives for their specific case, it makes it really likely that I'll see them once and my work can help a lot. So the medications they're doing, the occupational therapy they're doing, whatever other modalities they're doing to help them have their best life now take amazingly, like now really, really work. And so all the time the mom will be like, yeah, can you help little Johnny? I was like, well, tell me what's going on. And they'll describe his symptoms. And I'm like, ooh, he fell right on his face. He was probably 18 months. And they're like, how do you know? Because they're telling me Johnny has D. In order to have that, you have to have A, B, and C. It's just like a math equation. It's like recipe. You just have to figure out. So someone comes in and says, I got this kind
like
of
algebra.
What's that?
It's like algebra. You're just filling in their blanks.
Yeah, right. 1 plus blank equals 2. If it equals 2, you got to have 1 in, right? It's that much of an organized and predictable equation. So especially, I love this. It's the most common arrangement. Maybe the wife will come in first, has some great experience, some great results, and she'll send in her husband. And I'll say, oh, hi, so-and-so. So good to finally meet you. Yeah, this one comes right from there. Yep. You've had some whiplash events. Yep. I know what that is. Yep. Multiple ankle sprains. Solve for X. Skateboarder? Soccer player? That'd be my guess.
I'll tell you, we have this one viewer that always comes on StreamYard, and I'm not sure if it's the same viewer that's commenting now, but they never ever comment, ever. And I've been poking the bear, trying to get them to reveal who they
trying
were,
to get him in?
Never. Oh, he said he's a skater for 10 years. Wow.
Ta-da! Because you have D, so you got to have A, B, and C to get there. Bing! So the other part that he doesn't know is he probably had a bunch of wrist sprains. He's got a bunch of fixations in his chest. Later on in life, he'll get a neck issue that's totally avoidable. Or if he has chronic upper neck and back tension that doesn't really respond to like massage or stretching, it's in your chest, dude. Easy fix. What was my question? Oh, so like the husband comes in. Yep. See? Ba-ba! So
You're
the
a
husband
wizard.
comes in. What's that? Yeah, right. Should I get like a little pointy hat?
You definitely should.
That could mean some other bad things. Maybe it's a jaunty, like a jaunty cap. I think
as long as it's not white, I think you'll be fine.
Beige? No, teasing. So teasing. So the husband will come in and I'll be, oh, so-and-so, it's so finally good to meet the other half. How can I help you? What are you here for? I don't know. She just made me come. And so we start talking a little bit, kind of little icebreakers. And it comes to be vertigo, neck pain, back pain, all the stuff that he complains to the wife to all the time. And she's sick of hearing it, right? So she's farming it out to me. And so I'll just start doing my work. And it doesn't matter if they're there for foot pain. Maybe I have to start in the head and the neck. Who knows? So I start doing my work. And the person will tell me something like, she warned me that you were going to do some things that were a little bit different, and I like you a lot, ma'am, but I'm here for my foot. I'm like, I know, just go with it. And as I'm still working, do, he'll say, I can feel that in my foot. I'm like, I know. It's all one thing. It's all connected. The past, the present, the head, the neck, the shoulders, the hands. It's all one thing.
The past, the present, the head, and the neck. I don't think I've ever heard that before. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you just follow the body's roadmap of injury history. and you figure everything out.
That is such a great analogy. I use it all the time because that's one of the things that patients get so confused about. I'll bet if you start to tell your friends or your family or your colleagues, like, man, my shoulder's really been bugging me. Oh, that's going to open up the floodgates. Someone's going to say, oh, you know what you should do? You should do this. And then someone else is going to say, like, you know, when I had shoulder pain, I did this. And you'll get like 100 different recommendations. Well, all of those recommendations,
Everyone's a critic.
Right? All of those suggestions have some value. Everything does something, right? Foam rolling does something, cortisone does something, surgery does something, stretching does something, but it's about what's needed. So what gets really confusing on like the body map is most clinicians, unless they've taken my class, they don't know how a condition actually develops, right? So in the medical world, the $4 word for this, we call it etiology, and it just means causation. So what's the cause of your back pain? What's the cause of your knee pain? What's the cause of your loose left ankle? And we might have our suspicions. Most of the time it's an erroneous conclusion, meaning we're blaming something as the cause of our symptoms. Age. Go for yoga cat cow and thread the needle. Give that a try and that'll help you a lot more. But anyhow, so where was I going with this?
I agree. Phenomenal work.
Party trick,
That
magic.
calls for
Yeah.
a quick.
Yeah. I get one of those buttons. The whoopee. Can I get the whoopee cushion one?
I don't have that one loaded in.
What?
I loaded the applause just before we. I didn't hook up my sound machine this time. StreamYard is trying to integrate their own little sound machine, so all I did was throw the applause in.
Oh, got it.
But I guarantee you, the next time you come on, I'll have that whoopee cushion for you.
But you're not going to tell me when to use it. No,
I won't.
Sabotage. I'll be in like I'll be in a deep, like elegant, explanation or something, and then you just undermine me with a little.
Sounds good to me. We love a little bit of comedy on these shows.
If I was ever a ghost and I was going to haunt somebody, that's what I would do. I would wait until you're in a job interview or like making a proposal to your girl or like asking someone on a date and then just go.
You are going to fit right into the break room.
Sweet. Good. I feel like I'm there. But yeah, so if you open up the gates and you ask people for some suggestions and how to fix your stuff, everything does something, but it's about what's needed. And so that's what's really confusing on the body map is like, how did we get here? And so the most common, what we'll say the scapegoats, overweight, arthritis, and age. I have a patient, an older patient. What's that?
I feel attacked.
Don't take it so personal. I have an older patient. He's like, I think I got the TMB. And I was like, because I'm a clinician. I should know what all these medical conditions are. And I'm thinking, I gotta jump on Mayo Clinic. Like, what is this? And he's like, too many birthdays. And I was like, I hear that one all the time. They're like, yeah, I got this backitis because, arthritis runs in my family and it's genetic. I'm like, okay. Take it with a grain of salt. I'm not going to tell someone that they're an idiot or anything because that's not true. It's simply a misunderstanding. So they get on the table and I do poke. I do my work.
Doc, it's not a misunderstanding, Doc. You see, I inherited this back pain here. It came way down from my granddaddy. He used to haul the mules himself every time they got a sprained ankle. I tell you,
Right.
We used to farm the farms ourselves on foot, and my back is killing me since I was 2 months old. It's hereditary, I tell you.
It was probably walking uphill butt naked in the snow both ways also. Put that in there. Definitely major cause of the backitis. I can't make the backitis joke anymore. I did that, because I think everyone knows that when I say backitis, it's not real. But I had someone be like, is that serious? I was like, oh, shoot.
Backitis.
You can't scare your people, right?
Right.
So
that's great to be a clinician and be able to scare people like that. Like, ooh, you have the worst case of backitis I've ever seen.
I actually offer this quite often, especially, when I know the husband and wife or the couple or what have you. I'll tell them that doctor-patient confidentiality works both ways. Meaning, I'm not going to tell your husband that your back is fine now and that you can do the vacuuming again on you. And then I'll be like, and I can write on like a doctor's note, like, because so and so, this isn't serious. You're going to make a full recovery. But if you want me to write on a script pad, like, due to the critical nature of their condition, they need a foot rub, 6-pack of beer, and definitely can't do the dishes for 6 weeks. Only one person's taken me up on that. I'm like, come on, you guys, this is so good. It's so rich.
I'm calling you the next time I need a doctor's note.
Right? To this day, I can still fake my dad's signature. I mean, he's dead now, but like, to like, please excuse Anne for missing class. Boop, 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 boop.
Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I do. I have an
That's a
older
great way to
sister
get
named
back at
Rebecca.
them. You talk about being a ghost and trying to use the whoopee cushion. You can always use your dad's signature.
Wreck havoc. That's so
Oh,
good.
yeah.
You gotta find those tips and tricks, man. You gotta have fun in this world. What else are you doing,
Right,
right?
you do. You have to live a little bit.
Life is
You
for
have
living.
to.
Yeah.
Put whoopee cushions under your siblings as much as possible. Scare them with your dead parent's signature. It is okay. It happens. If your person comes in with back pain, tell them they have chronic backitis and they may only have 2 weeks to live.
Yeah,
It's
right.
okay.
It's really touch and go there.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but tell them that they need to get their affairs in order and definitely write me into their will.
Definitely. Because, we found the backitis. If it wasn't for us, you wouldn't have been privy to it. Now, where do you see yourself going in the near future? Are you trying to evolve your game even further?
Yeah, it's a huge passion of mine. I really love teaching. And if I die, this work dies with me. I do have a number of graduates out in the field. And so I'm in the process of cultivating even more what I call learning pods. So I'll travel to Montana, New York, Texas, and do a demonstration of the work because it's almost unbelievable. I can tell you words, words, words. It sounds cool, sure, but it's not until you see it in action, and especially with like a treatment failure or what we'll say a very complex or a difficult case, it's not until you see it in action that you're like, whoa, can I study with you? So I'm in the process of essentially kind of pivoting from active inpatient care as much as I do currently to more teaching. I've got 2 levels to the course work that I do. The first level is just all online, and it's the advanced history taking. So to be able to figure out when somebody tells you loose left ankle, chronic neck issues, difficulty breathing, you can figure out what's going on. Yeah. And that website's how you kind of get to me. And there is a button for both patients to be able to find someone who does Symptom Evolution near you. And then there's a button for providers who want to learn more about the technique and get in touch with me or even sign up for the class. So the first level course takes maybe about 10 hours for the average bear, 10 to 12 hours. And again, it's done all online. It's pre-recorded. So you can kind of learn at your own pace. And for physical therapists, orthopedic surgeons, general practitioners, et cetera, non-manual therapists, they would just stop at the first level course because again, it's just kind of to up the ante on their history taking game, we'll say. And for folks that actually do hands-on work and apply some soft tissue work, for those interested to learn the soft tissue techniques that I've developed, that's about a 60-hour training course. And that's a level 2 course that we do. And when I travel to teach, that ends up being maybe about 2-3 day weekends with a lot of follow-up support. And then if I have students locally, I still have a practice here in Central Oregon. If I have students locally, we end up doing maybe about 6 one-day weekends. But I pick the gnarliest cases I can find, stuff that you're not likely to see. So at this stage of the game with my practice, I have people traveling from Canada, Florida, where your neck of the woods, California, Washington, Idaho, Utah, Colorado, to come and see me. And so I cherry pick the most complex cases because they don't come to me unless everything else that they've tried hasn't worked. So I get the hopeless ones. I get the orphan children.
Well, you may get an orphan hopeless podcast host soon.
Oh no! Do tell.
I'm all messed up.
Good.
We'll save that for the break room.
Oh, okay.
Now, do you see this practice working on a certain age range better than others?
Oh, that's a really great question. So I see a lot of I will say the most common patient population that I see, and this is just kind of general for the field of what we call, I'm considered alternative health as a soft tissue or body worker.
Non-traditional
Mainstream would be.
Western medicine.
Yeah. So the most common for all of us, whether you're an acupuncturist, a massage therapist, a chiropractor, we're considered alternative cares. And the most common people that seek alternative care is middle-aged women. So I get a lot of middle-aged women, and then their husbands, and then their kids, and then their parents who travel from out of state to see me, blah, 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 blah. So I would say the mean distribution, the most common patient I see is a middle-aged female, but I have worked, I just saw a 2-year-old earlier this week that had some cardiothoracic surgery at 6 months and now is having joint swelling everywhere. Again, thoracic duct stenosis, big deal in there. The oldest person I've ever worked on was 84 and had some pretty serious incontinence issues, bowel bladder issues. She can go out to dinner anytime she wants to now.
I know you made her a happy woman.
Yeah, it's just it's a privilege to do this work. So it kind of depends. It's more not related to the gender or the age of the person, but their history. So for example, if you tell me that you have D and I go back through and ask you, well, do you have A, B, and C? And you're like, no, it's a lot less likely that I can help you, because what that means is that there's a systemic causation that's creating somebody's neck pain, for example, where you have really severe neck
It's
pain.
hereditary.
It's the itis. Oh no, not again.
I ate too much.
Yeah. But like, what's really causing someone's neck pain isn't anything that I can affect with my tools, aka my hands, where it might be a Lyme's disease thing, it might be a virus, so on and so forth. When
so
that's
something that's causing it deeper.
And so that's the indication, and I teach this to my students all the time. If whatever you're doing, your working diagnosis and the treatments that you're rendering, if it's working, symptoms change and they continue to change. And if you're barking up the wrong tree, they either don't change, or at worst, the patient has an adverse response. And that's a strong indication that you need to rethink your working diagnosis, get advanced imaging or some lab tests. I refer out all the time for drugs, surgery, toxic mold exposure, blah, 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 blah. There's a million things.
Exposure. What is that?
Ooh. Florida has quite a bit of humidity. If you don't turn on the fan in the bathroom, what happens?
Condensation.
Yep, lots of steam. That's a pretty minor mold thing. Most of the time, a serious mold exposure, the most common way people have this in their home environment, if there's been a leak somewhere, there's water damage, whether they're aware of it or not, and then the mold starts to grow in the house, and then you can see the paint bubbling up and that kind of thing. And they're sleeping in that environment, and being exposed to a little bit of mold, meh, but being exposed to either a lot of mold or a moderate amount of mold for a very long period of time, that starts to manifest fatigue, fluctuating joint pains that don't respond to the work that I do, massage, foam rolling, physical therapy, all kinds of things. Recognizing when the limitations of what I call my keyship, when you have when I have the right key for your lock, game on, let's initiate care. But through question asking, if I determine you have a lock that I don't have a key for, go see so-and-so, and I already know in advance that this is going to remedy your issue. Because again, where are you on the map and how did you get here? That dictates the path moving forward. We don't have to guess. I'm not like, I don't know, let's try this. I don't know, let's try this.
But did you ever think about writing a book?
Yes. Actually, a book series, and it's called Here's What Not to Do.
Okay.
Drink vermouth and milk. Don't do that. It curdles
Doesn't
immediately.
sound good.
About 0.7 seconds. Pro tip. You're welcome.
Does not sound good.
No, I think this is. I'll stick with that.
What about a TED Talk? Because it seems like this topic would kill.
Yeah, so I have written a TED Talk, and I haven't looked at for the application for a while, but I was so
Me
gung
too,
ho.
brother. Don't feel bad. Lactose
Oh,
intolerant.
um,
Although I can't get
uh,
enough cheese.
so good. If I was lactose intolerant, I think I would just die, like fainting goat style, just done,
It
just
really
done,
kills
out,
me that I
outie.
can't have milk. That's what really kills me. Milk. I can't drink it. I can't have. My go-to meal used to be a bowl of cereal, and I can't eat that no more.
You know they make
Sucks.
like cashew milks,
Oh, I've tried all the milks.
and it still messes you
All of
up,
them. Still messes me
or
up.
you just hate them.
The only one, no, I love milk. I love milk. It just messes me up. I've tried every type of cow milk, lactose-free milk. I've tried milk from bananas, milk from chickpeas, the soy milk, the almond milk, all of that
What
good stuff.
happens?
It comes out.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah, the whoopee. The whoopee.
TMI, bro. TMI. But what was I going? Oh yeah, so I wrote a whole TED Talk, and I haven't looked for a while, but I was all gung ho, ready to submit it and apply to be a speaker. They were only accepting applications from like Central and South America, and I was like, I can't do this in Spanish, man. That's asking
You got to
too
get
much.
yourself a translator.
Or whatever. What's the Google Translate? Yeah.
Yeah, Google Translate will do it. They have one now on your phone that's an app, and it has like a little avatar on it, and you type or speak it in English, and it'll translate it in whatever language.
You hope.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, just like you go into a tattoo parlor and you think you're getting some Chinese lettering that says courage beyond belief, and it really says pork fried rice.
I made a t-shirt. This is probably too much information. When I was an exchange student in Denmark in my high school years, there was a bunch of other exchange students in the same high school that I went to. And there was two Americans. There's one more American. There was a Canadian. There was a gal from Japan. She was super, super sweet. And so I asked her one day, I was like, will you write this out in Japanese for me? And it said, death to white people in Japanese. And I put it on a shirt and would wear it around. And other Japanese people would be, oh, thinking I didn't know what it said. That's really extreme. I please apologize to anyone I may have just offended.
Wait, what did you say it said? Did I miss it?
What is it?
Did you say what it said?
It said death to white people. But I feel like we need to have more sense of humor about ourselves and like call ourselves out on stuff. And so the joke for me was watching their faces. I knew exactly what it says. And they're like, oh. It was great. It just made me laugh super hard.
Canceling massage therapy now. I think you just got me too'd.
The boycotting all of them. I respect your opinions. I don't actually believe that. It was a joke, man. And the postures you're looking for is cat, cow, and thread the needle is the ones that I said for you.
Cat, cow, and thread the needle.
Yeah.
Oh, and it was a pleasure having you on. I know you're a busy woman and you got to get back to innovating the medicine world. We do 1,000% want to have you on the break room.
Yay! I want to come. That's going to be so much fun. Thank you for your
The
patience.
scheduling is much different than Talking Junk. There's no calendar. You just let me know when you're free, when you want to do it, and the calendar's open.
Oh, awesome. So, and you said it's like a Saturday night?
Saturday night. So it would be, what time is it over there for you?
We're rounding the corner on 8, so it's 7:45 Pacific Standard.
So it would be around 9:45 your time.
Well, it sounds like I just might have to get prepared with some Dizzle.
Oh, just let me know. I'll give you the deets.
Is that how the break room works?
That's how the break room works. We don't just got Dizzle here. We got the whole shebang down here.
Oh, man.
We'll bring out whatever you need.
I was gonna feel so guilty for like having like a little teacup of whiskey, but now
No. Whiskey, we got it all. We got cognac, gin, vodka, rum, whatever your poison is, we got it.
if you're ever
no,
on the West Coast, you need to look me up. I got you, man. I got you.
I definitely will. It seems like you could ail some of these pains.
Well, you know, for a small retainer, aka millions of dollars, I will travel to Florida.
Okay. Well, as soon as I can make millions of dollars off of this podcast, I will let you know.
Yeah, I'll shout this from the rooftops. This was super duper fun. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. You're the best. And yes, I'll totally go to the break room. That was awesome. My social handles. I'm not on Twitter, but I am on Insta and TikTok, and my handle is at Symptom Evo. And then on the contact form, because I don't have a whole team yet under me, I just have a personal assistant and a social media gal. So when you send an email to me, it goes to me. So I'm usually pretty good about responding. So that's the sponsor, man.
Yeah, man, you gotta. If you don't dizzle, what are you doing?
See? Wait, no, this way. That guy, that thing. Yeah.
The dizzle. And that is how we're going to make $1 million to get you to Florida.
Heck yeah. Well, awesome. I appreciate your time so much. Thank you for creating this really fun platform and environment. Like, you are a hoot.
Thank you. Well, we're trying to go big time here soon. We're hoping. So thanks again. Just don't go nowhere. We'll be right with you.
Got it.
Junkers. Anne was the best, and we are going to have her on the break room. We got to have you guys call in and get some symptoms analyzed. This was very eye-opening, and it won't be the last you hear from Anne Griffin on the Talking Junk Network. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bar if you're on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, just hit that like button. Send me all those nice notifications on my phone while I'm sleeping. I love those. Be sure to spread the word. Let everybody know Talking Junk is the place to be every Friday night. And don't forget, if you missed these live viewings, you can always go back into the archives. Thank you. I appreciate it. Make sure you hit all those buttons. We're here 3 times a week. Well, now 2, because one of the podcasts are on hiatus. However, there will be more. We have upcoming podcasts on the works. I'm not just the host. I'm the producer. I'm not only the client, I'm the player president. Thank y'all. Stay tuned next for tomorrow night's break room. You got me all flustered. We're talking about hip-hop homicides. So we're going to be going through the years and telling you about all these rappers that are being killed and what does it ultimately correlate to? What's happening in the U.S.? You let us know what you think. So come on and join us on the break room every Saturday night and every Friday for Talking Junk. We love you.